We all know claiming business expenses can be a bit of a headache, but it's super important to understand which type of expenses you are allowed to claim to ensure that you are operating in the most tax efficient way possible. So in this video, we will cover the most common expenses you can claim for, and we'll also clear up a few areas of confusion. Now, it's important to note that every business is different, so the types of expenditure that you might claim will vary from business to business. But some of the most common types include things like vehicle and travel expenses, the use of your home as an office, admin costs. This includes things like your internet and phone line plus postage, work clothing and training for you and your employees, and finally, entertainment costs. But that doesn't actually mean a wild night on the town. Now, the good news is most business expenditure is allowable. This includes business expenses you paid for with your own money, for example, when traveling for a business trip. Speaking of travel and business trips, if you have a commercial vehicle, and by this we mean it's used solely for business purposes, then generally you can claim the whole purchase price as well as all of the running costs. But if you have a vehicle which is not used exclusively for business, for instance, you sometimes use it for the school run or for family trips to France, this is going to put you in the grey area. If you are a sole trader, you can only claim for the proportion of time that the car is used for business. And the way you do this is by keeping receipts or tracking the mileage used for these trips. If you have a limited company, on the other hand, and sometimes use your vehicle for personal use, it's usually more tax efficient to own the car yourself and then charge business mileage to the company. When it comes to traveling for work, you can claim for pretty much any expenses you've incurred that isn't a predictable place of work like an office. So food, if you are staying away overnight, train tickets and hotel costs would all be allowed within reason though. HMRC may find staying at the Ritz and a 5-star dining a bit excessive. Another common area of confusion is what you can claim if you work from home. Now, many people who work from home neglect the costs associated with running a home office, which is easily done. But remember, if you are working, you're working. Even just working on a computer means you are using more of your utilities, which means your household bills will be higher. And in this instance, you'll normally be able to claim a proportion of additional household expenses that relates to your business. Think things like the cost of lighting and heating as well as part of your utility bills. Okay, so what counts as allowable clothing expenses? Whether you can claim for an item of clothing as work clothing generally comes down to one simple rule. Do you wear it outside of work? If not, then Bob's your uncle. There's sadly no grey area with this one, even if you happen to enjoy watching TV while still wearing your hard hat. We also commonly get asked questions about training. Basically, if you are training to top up your skills, then you can claim that through expenses, but if you want to qualify for something new, you can't. That said though, you can still claim to train employees in skills that are relevant to your business. There's a bit more detail to this though, so speak to your accountant if you are not sure. But what about the office Christmas do, I hear you ask? Well, you technically can claim to entertain employees, but you're best clarifying the restrictions on this with your accountant. And if you have any questions about claiming business expenses, feel free to leave us a comment below and hit the subscribe button to see more business finance content just like this. Thanks for watching.